Welcome to the High Contrast Podcast. I'm Eric.
GQ of those people.
And Will, also known as Skittles O'Henry.
Yes, so you guys know Will. GQ is our guest, somebody I've known for a while, and I wanted to reconnect. So, welcome absolutely to the show.
Thank you, sir.
We had a super fun episode, topic, an interesting series of movies that we wanted to spotlight, and I wanted to see if you were on board. And so, we are here to talk about Saw, but particularly Saw X or Saw 10. Also known as Bigger Saw, because there's a bigger, badder bad guy than Jigsaw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with GQ. Introduce yourself. Tell us like how people should know you and how they could look you up and whatnot, and then tell us your thoughts on like Saw in general.
Well, not to brag too much, but I'm pretty multifaceted. I'm involved in quite a bit. Online personality, do reactions, reviews, and comedic social commentary on current events and stuff like that. Um, I do music. I have three mixtapes. I have three albums. I'm involved in filmmaking. I do some editing here and there. I do some acting here and there. I have a couple of short films coming up later in the year that just wrapped filming a couple months back. It's being edited now, so very excited about that. Um, and I just finished writing a book that I'm getting proofread. It's a conspiracy thriller of sorts, and
What's it called?
it's called Mainframe. It's called Mainframe. So basically, um, there's six separate characters, right? And each character has like two chapters for themselves, and it seems like they're all isolated, separate stories. But then later on, their stories converge because each of them is using a different piece of technology that, unbeknownst to them, is all controlled by a shadow corporation that's
Ooh.
trying to use that technology, whether it be autonomous vehicles, dating apps, um, uh, health tattoos. What was the other one? It's just a lot of different technology that's being used, and but it's being used for a nefarious purpose
Mhm.
based on the corporation. I'm trying to speak very carefully to not spoil like really
Yeah,
really
100%. I
yeah,
Yeah.
get
yeah,
you.
yeah, as you can
Yeah,
see.
like
But I'm very excited about it. I'm waiting for it to get proofread. I'm anticipating getting a paperback and an ebook done.
that is
So
Nice.
incredible, man.
very
Where do you
excited.
find the time?
Um, it's very strange. It's more of like an escape. So
Uh-huh.
so okay, so
Okay, so
my
it's
job, my job, I work in a digital evidence unit at the Broward State Attorney's Office.
okay.
So in other words, I have my hands on digital evidence from every single agency in the county, and I see body cam footage, I see doorbell camera footage, security footage, and I see literally everything on a day-to-day
You
basis,
see everyone.
uncut,
Uncut.
uncut.
Okay.
And I'm basically one of the guys that goes through the footage and delegates which attorney is going to use it in
Mhm.
court, or what companies are coming to public records to purchase certain pieces of evidence for documentaries and for the news. And sometimes I have to blur license plates, and I have to blur blood, and I have to blur body parts, and I see some funny things on a regular basis, but I see some very dark things on a regular basis as well.
Okay.
And as an escape from seeing
You
that
take
on a
on a lot
daily
to
basis.
process and you need to do
Yes,
something with it.
yes. So I
Gotcha.
create and do other things on the side. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. So how do you feel about Saw as a
So
franchise?
it's
It's
interesting
too
that
much of what you
Saw.
see at work. It's just the same
Oh
old,
my
same old.
gosh, yeah. It's very. You'll be surprised at how similar it is. Um, what I always thought interesting about Saw was it was always placed in the horror genre, and I didn't really see it as a horror film.
Really?
I saw it as a very bloody suspense
Oh, like a
mystery.
thriller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel I kind of bunch horror in like the supernatural category of like Exorcist and
Mm.
or the slasher films like I Know What You Did Last Summer, that kind of thing. But
Scream, all that.
as far as like horror, I'd never really viewed it that way. I just thought it was a very bloody suspense whodunit type series of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
you're thinking, yeah, you're not really scared a lot of the time. You're like, okay, let me figure out who's behind this.
Yeah. I have a very
Basically.
blanket. To me, if the subject matter of the footage you're looking at is quote unquote horrific, then it is
Yeah.
horror on film, and I'd call
Uh-huh.
it a horror film. But that makes me put stuff under the umbrella that other people wouldn't touch with like a 10-foot pole. Like,
Yeah.
but then there are people who say, like, uh, I
I
don't know. I'm not getting into it, but go
Well, I
ahead.
was going to say, like, horror, I think, is subjective. I mean,
Yeah.
just as GQ said to him, it's horror. To somebody else, to sort of borrow what you were saying, Eric, somebody else might feel horror at the sight of these things. But
Mhm.
I agree. I think with GQ that it's. I think this paved the way for torture voyeurism, since the other word I would normally use will get us flagged. But I think this paved the way for like Hostel and other
Yes, it
movies.
did.
And
The
I think that,
1-2 punch, Saw and Hostel,
yeah,
created a subgenre that Saw didn't want to be responsible for, and there's a reason that the people that made the rest of the Saw movies are not the people who made the first one. But
interesting.
Mhm.
yeah,
I don't know much about that, to be honest. I will say that it's interesting that the broader subgenre there died out, in my opinion,
Yep.
while Saw continues to make money, and I'm interested as to why that is. It's, to me, Saw and Fast and Furious are kind of similar
you watched them
franchises
so
that
close
Same
together.
amount of
I
movies.
did. Yeah,
Same amount of movies.
They
yeah,
just-
exactly. Except one on their last movie really stuck the landing, and one on their last movie really didn't.
Really didn't.
Really didn't.
You guys are both down on Fast X. Also X.
Also, X.
It's
It
crazy.
should have been called Fast 10 Your
Fast
Seatbelts.
10 your seatbelts.
That's-
Yes,
Yeah,
it should have
yeah,
been. It's
Fast
criminal.
10 Your Seatbelt should have was like a missed opportunity. And
It's,
then and then the fact that they're trying to name the next one Fast X Part 2.
No.
No, I think that was the original plan, was that Fast X
Come
was going to
on.
be a two-parter. That's why it ends on the cliffhanger. But they have abandoned, in favor of rebooting it and trying to make it a more grounded movie, they have abandoned it being a direct sequel to X.
Okay.
So
So they're
there's
calling
just going to
it
be
what?
A weird cliffhanger. Yeah, because they were all talking about Jason Momoa's character being wrapped up in a sequel to the spinoff Hobbs and Shaw. And I haven't heard anything about whether that movie's actually going to get made or not. But
GQ, you asked what they're going to call it. They're going to call it Fast 11. We know you'll pay to watch this. And
The sad truth is,
yeah,
I'm probably going to pay to watch.
you're probably going to.
Yeah.
Not me, because this is a whole separate conversation that we can have. And it's your first time meeting me, and I'm so sorry. Unironically, best Fast movie and genuinely a good movie. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Really? Really?
Eric does not agree with me. Unironically,
Interesting.
It's like Tyrese wasn't a joke in that movie. Tyrese was like a serious player in that character, like in the situation they're in. It's in my opinion, well-made movie structurally, cinematically. It's ridiculous without going to space.
you guys got to remind me to talk into my microphone. I keep blowing that in this podcast. I keep doing that. Yeah, what's going on? So,
but yeah, we can talk about that another time if you want. I love that movie.
You know what? Ironically, a lot of people say Fast 5 is the best. I honestly
think
would
it's
say
6.
six is the best.
So they're kind of a blur.
Yeah, 6 is
6 is the one where Han
6
is
was with
back
the tank.
and Gal Gadot.
Tank.
6 is the one with the tank on the
6
highway.
is the one where Luke Evans is the bad guy, and it's like the rival team
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
And
before,
Vin and The Rock aren't fighting each other. They team up.
oh, that's
And
the first team up with them. Okay.
they had that tag team fight on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
they weren't
like that
allowed to
one.
fight each other in their contracts anymore. Because
Oh,
both of them couldn't lose.
From what I understand, the funny
Oh.
thing is Vin Diesel's the one that originally had that in his contract.
Uh-huh.
And then Statham and The Rock saw that and was like, "Oh, we want that in our contract too," and took that with them in every other movie they've ever done since.
Yeah,
Good
it's
gosh.
surprising they didn't do that after Doom when he
Sheesh.
died at the end of Doom. You think he's
I
going to
forgot
be
that
like
even existed.
the big hero? Oh yeah, I'm sorry to bring that
I don't
back
think,
to your attention.
I don't think he quite had the clout of that The Rock had. I think actually Fast
Oh my
Five is a
God.
little bit responsible for The Rock having the career that he has. I feel like that was where it established this trend that, oh, if you put The Rock in a franchise, it levels up to something
Franchise
else.
Viagra.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you say franchise Viagra?
Yeah.
That's what they called it.
We're talking
They called
about
it
torture,
they called them
voyeurism, and franchise Viagra. That's the title of the
I've
episode.
never heard that before. I love it.
Oh yeah. So wait, no, who's talking?
No, we left off on the
Oh, so
contracts.
Saw.
Yeah. Saw.
Okay. Will has a great way of summing up, I think, why we're talking about Saw X. Other than the fact that it's the most recent movie released, I think your opinion of this movie is the same reason I am interested in doing this episode. So I would like you tell me what you think of Saw 10.
Okay, so it took 10 movies, but Saw figured out what they should have done from the beginning. And that's to make Jigsaw the protagonist and not the villain. And this movie is completely changed by having him, everything from the point of view of him, and you understand his motivation better. I mean, it wasn't hard to understand before of, well, he has cancer and he wants to punish people who wasted their lives. Okay, great. But this movie is like a revenge movie. It feels kind of like a heist movie by the end when he is revealing all of the hidden steps he took and everything. And it honestly, I never would have expected to say this based on like how he presents himself in these movies, but Tobin Bell as Jigsaw has enough of the right charisma to carry this movie. And it only took 10 movies for them to make this decision.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of is that if they had made Cary Elwes a recurring main character and he was just being horribly tortured for a dozen movies.
Just he always wakes up in a new room.
It's like, oh no, again.
The thing that I appreciated about Saw X is the fact that they as if you already didn't know, it allows you to get into how tedious he is in making sure that he covered every little detail of what he needed to get done.
Yeah.
I think a part of it. Sorry,
a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say it's also like the people he's getting on revenge on were so meticulous, and he has to show them that he can do it better.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. Definitely.
Like, you think you got this? Oh, okay.
Right.
Watch this.
The brain video. I was pissed for him. Like when he found that DVD.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh.
Why wouldn't they just shave part of his head?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. They couldn't afford, with the billions of dollars they've made scamming people. They couldn't afford clippers. What were you going to say, Eric? What
surgery? All right. This franchise asks you to swallow a ridiculously large pill, like about halfway through, which is when Jigsaw says something to the effect of, nothing is left to chance when you understand human nature. Like he has
talking about the Michael Jackson song, or
right. So Jigsaw has this superpower that because he understands the truth of human nature, he can predict what everyone's going to do. In this movie, I have this pitch for a Saw movie that he makes a mistake and there's a character that ends up in a saw trap that is not the character that the saw trap was actually designed for.
That's crazy.
So they like, I particularly am thinking of I think it is Saw 5, Saw 5, when the police officer that's chasing Hoffman shows up in the room where Jigsaw died, where they had surgery. And there's like a secret wall compartment that opens up, and there's a tape recorder hanging from the ceiling, and he's already pre-recorded his name. So Jigsaw has already predicted not only will the FBI get involved in this case, but they know which FBI agents will be assigned, when the guy is going to be in the room. Like, he knows everything to the detail. And to me, like, the idea of like maybe one of the kids that they kidnap in order to torture the people, like, gets loose and goes down that hallway to escape and ends up triggering the traps that are designed for that detective.
Have you thought about
having Jigsaw have to react to like
and making it into another book?
I
Saw, because like, remember that the other one, Spiral,
the book
from the Book of Saw.
Yeah,
I think you should do another book.
I would. It's another one of those things I'd love to do, like a spec script if I have time to like sit down and write and do stuff like that. But just this movie has that, in the sense that Cecilia, Sinove McCody, I think her name, her accomplice showing up, like, that is a 3D chess move to like figure out like that I'm going to design a trap, and then I'm going to be put in that trap. So I have to make sure that trap is non-lethal, but it has to be designed for 2 people in case I use the trap. And
I
then
have to be on this one. And the other person has to be on that one.
Yeah.
So then that way it looks like I had nothing to do with it, because why would I put myself in a trap?
And it's sort of the magic of the franchise that I'm able to look at something like that and go, oh, that's fun. Instead of go like tear my hair out and be like, that makes no sense. Like, that's the line where I think you're either a fan of Saw or you can't stand it, is if you can swallow that gigantic pill the franchise asks you to swallow.
Yeah. I mean, when The Dark Knight came out and we all swallowed the Joker's plan. Were you thinking?
No, because I was thinking about how the Joker's mind works, and how the little scenarios he was putting people in was very Saw-ish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it all depended on the result of each of those scenarios has to go what the Joker thought would to move on to the next one.
Exactly. That's why he switched Rachel and
Harvey Dent. Yeah.
Harvey Dent.
So here's the thing. I think too much about The Dark Knight for a movie that never gets brought up. And like, but I'm also someone who spent 10 years after Star Wars was done with the prequels, editing the prequels for nobody. So
hey, they were pretty good, by the way, GQ. If you haven't seen Eric's edits, they're pretty good.
I'm curious now. I want to check them out.
So the thing about the Joker's plan that you can't say about Saw is, if one of his steps of his plan fails, then something just doesn't happen. Like, if he doesn't get arrested, all he does is not blow the bomb that's in the guy's stomach.
Yeah, okay.
He's created a contingency, but it is possible that he created more contingencies and we never saw him because his plan never went that way. Like, it is that thing where he seems like he's one step ahead of people, but it feels in the realm of possibility that this psycho is creating this like giant maze of things to do, and could get caught.
It's more of a broken clock.
Yeah,
that he just did so much that something is going to go right for him, and it does.
Yeah, because he definitely thought Harvey Dent was Batman. So there's definitely a point in the movie where he's wrong, and
it's the wrong chin. Can't even believe that he thought that with that chin. Aaron Eckhart's chin, Christian Bale's chin.
Once he realized it wasn't, it's not like he was surprised.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, okay, it's not him. All right, fine. I'll find out who else it is.
Yeah.
Well, his whole ethos was chaos. So he's like, okay, great, I can roll with this. I do think there's more difference, though.
Like the opposite of Saw.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say
everything is fated to be how it is, and there's no escape. So you must
Well,
Yeah.
there is escape, and that's what I was going to say. Is like, for example, in Saw X, there was the girl with the radiation emitter.
Oh my gosh.
She
The
wins
cancer
her
gun.
game. Yeah, the cancer gun. Chernobyl 2 emitter Boogaloo. They like she wins, and he's like, "Well, we know we need to get her to a hospital." Like she won, so he.
Yeah.
I know that they do this to sort of pseudo humanize Jigsaw, but you are murdering one person after another. But at least he will say, like, "Oh, well, you won, so go." Like you got out.
Technically, if you really think about it, is he murdering somebody?
Yes.
Or
So,
oh my gosh,
okay.
yes he is.
Or is he putting him is he putting him in a situation where if everything is done correctly, they could live?
No.
I get what you're saying.
But
he's still responsible for their death.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But he could always go on that technicality of I didn't kill them.
So this is the thing that drives me crazy is they built that movie by movie. By the Saw 3 is the anomaly of the whole series to me, because if I were watching these movies in a row, Saw 3 is where I would have quit. One, it's the longest movie.
Is that the brain
2
surgery?
Hours. That's the brain surgery one, where Jeff, popularized on Dead Meat as slow ass motherfucking Jeff, because he's like crawling his way through his trials and whatnot, is grieving his lost son, and he has to depart with his son and forgive people in order to, the whole thing is about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Saw 3, if you don't know about Saw 4. The fate that he leaves it up to is that he also has a daughter, and that daughter is sealed away in a place where only Jigsaw knows where she is. And if he kills her, then he kills his daughter. And to me, it's like, no, you crossed the line. Jigsaw locked a little girl in a sealed place and is allowing her to starve to death and claiming that it's the other guy's fault because the other guy killed him. No.
I see what you're saying there.
You've blown your logic, and your movie was really long, and like that's the thing. But as soon as 4 starts, you get that, well, Hoffman was actually one of his accomplices the entire time, and Hoffman knew where the little girl was, and she was actually placed there so Hoffman could look like the hero when he gets out of his trap and rescue the little girl, so she was always going to be safe.
Like they were trying to clean up. They're like damage control.
Like
for part 3.
Yeah.
You seem upset about that, Eric.
It's just like the series is fascinating to me for how much it built itself along the way.
Yeah. And honestly,
it's successful as it is.
It didn't paint itself into a corner as much 7. As you. What happened in 7? I don't remember. I watched all of these and I blanked. Oh, that's Saw 3D. You remember how it opens with that scene with like the teenagers and the girl, and then just in front of and then they never talk about those people ever again.
They don't.
They're just gone.
These people are dead, but we're gonna move on to more important things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one with Carrie Elwes and
Carrie Elwes comes back.
And what's his name? Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park as a Nazi.
Yep.
Why?
So here's the
why
thing.
was this movie?
Here's the thing. Saw 6 was on their game plan. Saw 6 was a part of the plan. Saw 7 was originally supposed to be the start of a 2-part finale. Saw 8 was supposed to be the end of everything they started building towards since the 3rd or 4th one.
But it kept on making so much money that they were like, we can stretch it out.
They started losing money to the Paranormal Activity franchise.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And so they turned Saw 7 into one movie, rewrote a bunch of stuff, and changed the ending of the whole thing. And so we never even got to see what they were actually building towards. And Saw 7 is like a mean mess. Like I have a hard time watching that movie because and there's like all this like background stuff, like Jill, the Jigsaw's like ex-wife, whoever.
Oh yeah.
Was actually like married or in a relationship with one of the producers, and they broke up before that movie was made. And then the movie's writing is so like mean and nasty towards Jill's character that it's got this like bad flavor in it. Like, yeah. So Saw is just this interesting story. They were making them year after year after year after year. And only about halfway through did they have an end goal in sight. And then they didn't even get to that end goal. And then they tried to reboot it twice. And then they finally were just like, what do people want? And they went back and they ignored their ages. And Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith absolutely knocked it out of the park. And we got probably the best Saw movie outside of like maybe like one or two of the other ones. It depends on like what you enjoy out of the Saw franchise. There are a lot of people who really, really like 6 for the whole like insurance company plot and like the performance of some of the extras, the actors and stuff like that. Like, you look at me when you're killing me.
Oh,
like,
that line. I love that line.
Yeah.
From a character who barely has a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that line. And by the way, that's not.
Hey, what's that guy's name?
Let's look it up. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
I was gonna say, like, just in case anyone's wondering, that was not hyperbole on Eric's part. From 2004 to 2010, there was one Saw movie per year.
Sean Matheson.
Sean Matheson. There we go.
Yeah.
Related to Richard Matheson.
I-E. No,
oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Weird. And then Jigsaw in 2017, Spiral in 2021, and Saw X in 2023. And that's insane to me that we haven't gotten another one.
Well, we were.
I thought there was
X.
one coming out.
There was going to be a Saw 11 that directly followed up and dealt with Cecilia, but it has been canceled.
Oh, so not even postponed, just canceled.
Yeah, just canceled.
Wow, that's a shame.
If we get another Saw movie, it's going to be another attempt at a reboot, and that sucks so hard because this team is everything. This is the director of like 2 through 4. And this is the same writing team that was writing the original soap opera that was going on. And the same guy did the music for Saw 10 that's been doing it ever since Saw 1 across all of the reboots and everything. These are the people who should be making this movie, and they just canceled it. It's like, no, you got it.
There was no reason, right?
Not that I know of. I don't think it's like because it made money. It made a surprising amount of money. So
it wasn't like it was going downhill like the Fast franchise.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, in a car when you gain speed that fast, and eventually you crash if you're not careful.
That's very true.
Not like Saw where you cut yourself accidentally. It sounds like what they did here. I was looking to see who owns Lionsgate, but I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole and trying to figure that out. But I mean, it is baffling that they made 10 times their budget, a budget of $13 million and a take of $125 million. And they're like, no, we're not going to do anything else. Which, I mean, I think it's a byproduct of the $1 billion goal in a lot of movies now. Well, I would say in the late 2010s, especially pre-COVID, it was like, we have to get to $1 billion or we're not successful, let alone the fact that you made 10x your budget. With 13 million in 2023 and 2022, maybe during production, that's not a big budget.
No,
that's so small. And then it made 10x, and then no, we're going to cancel the sequel. I look at everything through the lens of video games. And GQ, you may not have known that, but like, are you familiar with PT? It was on the PlayStation 4, and it was just quietly released on the PlayStation Network store in 2014, I think. And it was literally just PT, Papa Tango. And it was a first-person, very intense graphic, not violence, but in terms of video game graphics. And it was a looping hallway with a ghost, and it didn't explain how to play it. You just had to play through the whole thing and then figure it out, which that got a lot of buzz going and people interested, and they figured out how to beat it was playable teaser is what PT stood for. And it was a teaser for Silent Hills, a project they were working on with Guillermo del Toro, Hideo Kojima.
I'm more familiar with Silent Hill.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima was working on it for Metal Gear. Guillermo del Toro was working on it, starring that guy. What's his name? He's from Boondock Saints and The Walking Dead. What is that guy's name?
Oh, Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. It turns out you're playing as Norman Reedus this whole time. And then Konami said, actually, that's not going to make us enough money in the next quarter. Cancel that. And then they used the IP to make a pachinko machine in Japan. And that's all they did with the franchise until the last few years. when we have another Silent Hill game. But the internet was devastated, and a lot of derivatives came out of first person walking simulators, for lack of a better word, that were really scary. Mm-hmm. And Konami missed out on all that revenue that they would have gotten. Video games are different, obviously, than movies, but I do think if they canceled a sequel to Saw X, I think that's a tragedy. This movie was so well made and made so much money, relatively speaking, that they're missing out. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. They can just make as many $10 million movies as they want to.
So I'm wondering, because if it's not, how do I put it? If it's not a budgetary concern,
mm-hmm.
was it creative differences? What was the obstacle?
I mean, it could be. Eric, do you know anything as to why?
You know what? Let me look it up. Let's look at what Google AI says.
Oh, please don't. So I mean, it all ultimately things can be boiled down to money. But yeah, I do think that, like, if there's creative differences, do they then, how much money are they willing to put up with those creative differences?
Yeah.
So
because it wasn't like their box office was diminishing at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Again, I
No,
always
right. I had heard about this. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Reddit. Producer disagreements. There are people who disagree about what makes money with the franchise. And some people think you need to make the franchise be able to exist without Tobin Bell so that it has longevity. Continuing to try to make it relying on Tobin Bell with his age and things like that is like, you can only make it so far and then you're stuck and you're going to have to reboot it anyways. So there's like these producers who want it to go on and become its original thing that can stand on its own. And then there's producers that want to continue to do Saw 10 and 11 and they can't come to an agreement. So nothing happens.
There's also chatter, according to the Hollywood Reporter, about the association with murdering a health insurance leader and the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Ooh. And they were like, let's back off this story. And it's just like when 9/11 happened, and a lot of movies and video games had to be like, oh, we got to change everything, like aliens coming out of the Twin Towers in Men in Black 2, for example. They were like, well, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
hold on a minute. So this news came out October 8th of this month. Of this year.
Mm-hmm. So it's still this month, yeah.
Blumhouse production company closed the deal for the rights to the Saw franchise. With Saw now under his control, Blum plans to reboot the franchise. The next installment would be Saw 11.
Yeah, and I get like Eric said, like Tobin Bell is not young, and it's not anything about his appeal. It's about the fact that how long can we continue to have this guy be the face of our franchise? Sort of like the George R.R. Martin thing of like, are you going to release this book before you're 95 years old?
Yeah.
How many movies can we keep Tobin Bell in?
Let Tobin Bell do it. He's a good actor. Just keep making them. As long as
they're gonna have James Wan. They're gonna have James Wan hugely involved.
That makes me optimistic, but it also is like, I think you hit your stride and now you're like, hang on.
It's starting to concern me how much Blumhouse is buying up and owning everything.
It's like the conglomerate of horror films.
Yeah.
What I was going to say a minute ago about coming down to money is the difference between billions of dollars making a $300 million movie that you hope makes $1 billion. With that same budget, you can make 30 Saw movies. And if all of them make 10x, well, guess what? You ended up with more money. So I think that they missed out. And maybe Blumhouse will do right by Saw, and maybe they will make another Saw movie with Jigsaw is the main character. Because again, I think that's the secret sauce for this movie, at least, and I think maybe previous movies. And maybe you have like a half story of a protagonist and a deuteragonist, where the deuteragonist is Jigsaw, but or maybe you never introduce him at all. I think that could be interesting too, or
Right.
something unknown is happening, and I don't know. Honestly, the fact that we're talking about Saw 10 right now at all, I think is a big deal for the franchise, because it is so irrelevant. Like that type of movie, I think, is so irrelevant now. Saw is the only one still doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big gamble to say, well, we're going to reboot the franchise. And I think they would need to shift the genre a little bit to be more traditional horror, or to be less horror focused entirely.
I mean, I feel like that's what they tried to do with Spiral, is they tried to shift things into a more police thriller, like.
Oh, well, they did that at the exact wrong time, I think. With Sentiment of Police in 2020 and 2021.
Right, but that's like the whole point. The entire thing of Spiral is based around police corruption and brutality. And like, have you seen Spiral?
Me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So you watched the whole franchise too. Yeah. So then I don't have to explain it. Like it's pretty clear what they were trying to do. But and it was technically the right time for the political climate for that movie to get a lot of attention. So it's amazing that it didn't do.
It barely made more than its budget, yeah.
But I also, it's probably, there's this movie that just came out called The Long Walk, and I think something happened probably.
It's like Spiral. A 50-year-old book, right? The adaptation.
It's Stephen King's supposedly first story.
Okay.
But it's like, it's dreary, it's depressing. And in a climate where everything is dreary and depressing and people are looking for escapism, I think maybe when you pair something up that relevant, people just like, I don't need more
probably why
of a reality.
I haven't seen it yet, because I keep hearing that it's a tough watch.
It is.
I can imagine. The story is there's like a competition that young boys have to walk from one city to another.
Every state. No. There's no end line.
Oh, they just walk until one of them is left. If you go below like 3 miles an hour, I think, then you're dead. They kill you. And if you walk off the road, you're dead. They kill you.
Damn.
So until one person is left.
People like monitoring.
Yeah. You have guards.
They're being followed by tanks and people marching. Yes. Yeah. You get three 30-second warnings. 3 strikes. Like, first warning, they call out your number. Second warning, they call out your number. And it's
that's tough.
To me, it was too miserable. I couldn't, like, to me, everything hinged on the ending, and the way they went with the ending, which I won't spoil. It just killed it for me. I just felt dead inside. I can't.
It's like, how much more can you take of seeing this?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I'm seeing this in every school in America. Let me go to the movies.
And apparently there was some, I forgot what state it was in, but there was like a special where people would be walking on treadmills while the movie was playing.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. And that you would be removed from the theater if you couldn't keep up.
If you don't,
That's cool. That's
Eric's like, hell yeah. Go to this thing.
Hey man, you get your steps in, you know.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I'm all about those.
Oh man,
no, it's. I think that if you're going to make a movie like that, you need to pivot. So, The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, is also a Stephen King adaptation that is absolutely nothing like the book it's based on.
Considering the titles, I would assume.
Oh, the long walk and the running.
Complete opposite of each other.
Right. Well, so they are remaking. They're making another adaptation of The Running Man that is much.
I saw the trailer recently.
Yeah, it's much more like the book, which is like you have to. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. And it's like you have to film yourself on the run from people hunting you, and someone can report you and get a reward and all this stuff. And that's what the book is. I doubt they're going to keep the ending from the book where the protagonist flies a plane into a building.
Yeah, they might want to remove that.
Or Eric's making a face. Has enough time passed, Eric, that we can do that?
I mean, Because the idea is that like all the money goes to his family, right? Like all of the winnings. So like, I honestly would. I can't tell if I would like the movie more or less. Like,
I'm not thinking so much about the protagonist so much as the image of a plane flying into a building.
I know, but
a skyscraper.
They make a point in the trailer. They make a point that he gets up in Josh Brolin's face and he says, "I'm coming back and I'm burning this building to the ground." And Josh Brolin's like, "That's the spirit." And I'm like, if that's your setup,
okay, yeah, I mean maybe. But what
I mean, unless they find some other type of aircraft, so then they could be like, "Well, it wasn't a plane."
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in a hovercraft.
Yeah.
Into the building. Well, what I was going to say is that previous adaptation was pretty successful of The Running Man.
Yeah,
but it was nothing like the book. I can't remember if it's a book or a short story. I think it's a book. And you could have made The Long Walk. I don't know how you would have twisted it to make it a little different, but I think you could have. And I think that, yeah, it probably would be a little more successful.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to run through Critics Critique real quick. This is where we go take a movie and we break down all of the review aggregators that try and like boil movies down into a number and crack them back open into people's opinions and kind of figure out what are critics in general trying to say about this movie, and do we agree with the consensus or not? So, first, right off the bat, Saw X has a B cinema score. So cinema score, the way that works, that we've explained before, is people go to a movie and then they're given a scorecard, and people give it like a certain rating, a letter rating, and they take a look at what people are rating it, and based on that, they make a prediction of how much they think the movie will make money-wise, and that gives it its actual like A, B, C, whatever rating. So the production here is that generally this movie was going to be successful. And I agree with that. I don't think there's any Saw movie that I would consider like an A, like, you know, that I not that I would expect to make $1 billion, you know? So,
well, yeah, but I think you'd have to measure that against how much money is put into it too.
Yeah, so like you have to redefine what you consider success. So, but here's the thing. With horror, it is hard to get good numbers, good reviews, good things. So
we've talked before about
being attached to a franchise already, of course.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Well, even then, like Spiral did very poorly. And I think maybe that contributed to the success of Saw X, is like, oh, it's a return to form. Maybe this is going to be
Spiral
better.
was such a huge departure of what people expected to see, and I think that's why it didn't do so well, because people were expecting, you know, they didn't expect all the police corruption.
I'm so sorry. Go on, sorry.
No, they just wanted another, you know, Saw.
Another Saw.
You know, yeah, basically.
Right. Yeah, people think they want new things, but then they won't pay to go see those. I'm so sorry. We already talked about Spiral. I have to say this, put it on the record before I forget and before we move on. I didn't like that movie, but it is criminal that they didn't have more scenes between Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson as father and son, because their chemistry was incredible. It was amazing. And they didn't do anything with it. There's like 2 scenes with them together, and I was like, they work so well together.
Well, why? It was Chris Rock had a heavy hand in making that movie, and he has never done really anything dramatic acting like that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe he,
outside of maybe Fargo.
Oh, he was. I didn't know he was in Fargo.
Yeah, he was in Fargo.
But like, so this isn't an era where he's trying to take himself more seriously, but I don't know if I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, if I write myself more screen time with Samuel L. Jackson and try and dig into it, I might bite off more than I can chew.
Yeah.
But he should have.
Yeah. It would have been masterful to watch.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption, but before I forgot, I had to throw that out there.
So generally,
I think it's relevant to the conversation.
Do you guys think a B is fair or what?
I think so.
I don't think you're ever going to get back to the greatness that was part 1.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that
You
more in
know,
a bit after,
so
after this. I
Yeah,
think.
because part one to me is an A.
Okay. Okay. Part one is an A. All right.
I think there's a broader conversation that can happen about the first time horror did something with Saw, with the Blair Witch Project, with there was another one that I just thought of, and now my brain won't let me find it again. But like the first time a horror movie does
Paranormal.
something.
The
No,
Conjuring or Insidious
no.
is actually
I
the one that
mean,
kicked off that trend.
Insidious is a good example, but like things that are novel, and Saw was absolutely novel when it came out. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, we haven't seen a horror movie like this.
Mhm.
I'll think of it and then I'll blurt it
so
out in the middle.
Halloween.
I wasn't thinking of Halloween, but that's a good example. Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
Out, maybe. Or,
What was it? Sorry.
Get Out.
Get
Get
Out.
Out.
Get Out.
No, that's another good example. That's not what I was thinking of, but yeah, that's a great example.
Well, now I want to know. I just want to know.
I'll think of it. I'll think of it, and I'll
You'll just blurt it out. Like
it's Scream. That's the one I was
the
thinking.
slasher film. Yeah, the slasher.
Yeah.
So-
It's sort of like revolutionized slasher films, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and then the rest came.
and it created that like teen pop, like floating heads, like
Yeah.
rich, hot young people.
Which, by the way, I saw Faculty 20 years, 30 years too late, and it's surprisingly good.
Faculty is great. I really like
I
that.
thought my expectations, to quote Mr. Plinkett, my expectations were next to dinosaur bones.
I
and
love Josh.
You know
Brolin.
what? People don't realize because okay, so I promise I'm gonna bring this home. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it makes sense. So people keep comparing Sinners to From Dusk Till Dawn
Yeah.
for whatever reason, and I think it's way closer to The Faculty. than
Really?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Eric, stop looking at me.
Why?
Because of the thing you kept in the video about From Dusk Till Dawn. Anyway, I think, having just watched The Faculty for the first time, I can agree with that. I think people see vampires in one location. Okay, this is From Dusk Till Dawn, but no, I agree that The Faculty might be a better analogy.
The thing about From Dusk Till Dawn is it is like a bottle episode. Like everyone is contained in the thing. But that's the thing. To me, it's more of a mishmash between The Faculty and The Thing. And it just happens to be vampires, and they happen to use some practical effects that look like some practical effects from Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. It's funny. We just watched that happens sometimes with a movie where it has a thing, so it's going to automatically be compared to another thing. Last night we just saw
That's surface level.
Shelby Oaks
comparison.
Right. Yeah.
Her Stuck in the movie, and that movie is hands down a mishmash of the Blair Witch Project and Hereditary. But there's I can't really spoil the movie. I just realized I can't really tell you.
Okay.
Whatever else is mixed with is
there's
gonna give
another
away.
big movie,
Yeah.
and it's Rosemary's Baby is the other big movie that is just like, because something happens in the movie, you're automatically going to compare it to that movie, even though they're nothing alike.
Right.
And
vampires in a bottle episode. Sinners must be just like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that George Clooney is your lead, that's a very different energy, I think.
Yeah.
Very different.
Anything you'll get from Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Then again, we could have him be Batman and see.
So, let me do Metacritic real quick, because this is the one I usually read a couple of these. Metacritic is 26 critics reviews gave it a 60, which I think is low.
Yeah.
And the users gave it a 7.3 out of 10. So they're a little bit more moderate. But there's hardly any red. There's mostly yellow and green. So an example of a lower review. The torture set pieces in the Saw films are lavish gifts of Baroque horror presented to the audience. They are quite simply the reason we came. Tobin Bell with his stare of pitless wisdom is also a draw, but Saw X raises the issue of how much John Kramer's hand-wringing is too much. See that? Okay. But, so in a nutshell, this is everything you come for in a Saw movie, but was there too much of Tobin Bell doing the John Kramer thing? Was that, too much of the movie? And no, I don't think it was. So
I think if you're coming to watch people be tortured horribly, then yes, there was too much. But if you were coming to like see what could be done with the story, I think there was plenty. I think there was the right amount of Tobin Bell talking. It's just so. Did y'all watch Midnight Mass?
Oh yeah, I love Midnight Mass. Like try and give no spoilers, and GQ just go and watch just the first episode.
Midnight Mass.
Yeah,
Midnight Mass on Netflix.
It's Mike Flanagan. If you have you followed enough of Mike Flanagan to know that he's like a horror king at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
I would argue that Midnight Mass is his best show.
Over to the watch list.
Over Haunting on Hill House, over like
the other one,
any of the ones, like all 5 of them or whatever. There's Haunting at Bly Manor. There's Midnight Club. There's Midnight Mass. There's Follow the House of Usher. Midnight Mass, I think, is his best one, and I just like, yeah. Anyways, Will, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that there is a scene that I hesitate to call monologues so much as extended dialogue, where 2 characters are talking to each other, but they each have a monologue. So it's kind of hard to say it's a dialogue or a monologue, but people complained that there was too much talking in this scene. And it's one of the heaviest conversations you're going to see on film. Well, probably not on film technically, but you know, it's a deeply personal, heavy conversation for these characters. And people were like, "Oh, there was too much talking in that one episode where the 2 characters are having this deep personal conversation."
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the gist of what I'm getting from these Metacritic reviews, or people are saying like,
"Yeah,
oh, it's Saw, you came for the blood and buckets," but like, there's like so much of John Kramer, and I feel like people were like, "But did you care?" Because what they're
right.
what they're doing with his character in this is like a really interesting, engaging thing to dive into. And it feels like people are just kind of blanket watching, like, it's Saw. What do you want? They give you exactly what you want. And it's like, I feel like the people who were reviewing this lower, like, maybe didn't care enough about like what they were watching, like the context of it.
Yeah, but it's hard also to tell them that that's invalid, because they are going into a movie looking for a certain experience.
I was just going to say they're going into it with expectations already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those expectations weren't met, and so my expectations were vastly superseded. I was like, oh, this is a good movie. And I didn't expect that. I went into this expecting to eat popcorn and be on my phone and talking to my partner and not really paying attention. And no, I was engaged with what was going on. Contrast that with the Hellraiser series, which we also watched together. And the Fast and Furious series. That was my fault. I recommended Fast and Furious, and I regret it every day. They actually got me the
because
all 10 songs.
Was your apology accepted?
2.
Yes, thank goodness. And what are we doing now? We're watching the original series of Star Trek because they loved The Next Generation, and I said, well, we can move to Deep Space Nine and the momentum will keep going and you'll love it, or we can watch the original series, and they chose that, and it's such a slog. Sorry about it. And Sopranos, we're so close. We're on the last season, which is twice as long as any other season, and we're so close.
I did thoroughly enjoy Deep Space Nine, though. I will say that
it's so good. Yeah. I haven't watched it in 20 years, but I remember. Oh no, that's a lie. 30 years.
Captain
Benjamin Sisko. And when he punches out Q, and he's like, "Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard."
I'm not Picard. Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Going by the critics, 60, too low, too correct?
It's out of 100 Metacritic?
Yep.
It's a bit low, but I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Sure.
I could understand why they would give it that low of a rating. I mean, we're comparing it to 10 other movies in the
yeah.
I would assume that it would be low.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's low. It sounds like I think it's a little lower than GQ does. I think it deserved better. But again, this goes back to what we were talking about the expected experience versus the intended experience, and whether or not that makes it a good movie or not. For me, I think 60 is low. For someone who wanted to see violence and munch their popcorn, then yeah, that I think 60 is right on target for them.
Yeah.
I disagree. I feel like it's weird to me that this movie delivers so heavily on the saw trap element of things versus
Mhm.
Spiral, which leans so much more into the cop plot. And in the original Saw series, that's the two things. Every movie is cop plot and trap plot.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what they talk about in the Dead Meat
Do you think
franchise.
maybe it suffered from the audiences being so desensitized to the past couple of films that
I just think
when
it
they
would
went
be
into this one, they felt maybe it was a little bit more of the same to them?
like maybe more of the same, but I just think if you're gonna write more of the same, then you're gonna give it like a 70, like a C average.
Yeah.
It's weird to me to look at this and say, yeah, it does what it does and it does it well. Almost a 50, like 60 out of 100. Like it's like I always think of things. Some people review movies and the average is a 5 out of 10 because that's mid. That's as much good as it is bad. But I always kind of think, and I think the way IMDb generally works is people have that grade school thing in their head where a passing is 70.
Mhm.
And so it's
Yeah.
just it feels to me weird to look at this movie, and if you get it, then you're like, wow, this movie's better than average. They did a great job with Tobin Bell and all that. And then even if you didn't get it, you're still like, yes, this movie did a good job, but low grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's important to remember it's an aggregate score
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Well, no,
And
because I'm looking at generally like I've clicked X on it now, but I'm looking at the yellows. I'm looking at the
Yeah,
general
right.
scores of people who are making it like 60, 70, 50 something. And the thing that I keep seeing is like, what did you want? It's got buckets of blood and bone crunching sound effects. Like, like, yeah, but
Like
like,
what would you want to make it 100? Like
yeah, like
Now
how
you
Yeah.
good does it have to be for you to take that and acknowledge it's doing well and give it a good number? Like how
it sounds as if we need our own review site where we ask that very question. And you have to fill that out if you want to leave a review.
Yeah.
Well, what would have made this a better movie?
Yeah. Oh man, I actually would be in on
you
that.
you could build something like that too.
Like
you could,
a little
with
letterbox
those
qualifier.
yeah.
Yeah.
With those specific parameters, you can like build a site and enter those parameters and make them answer those questions and
Yeah,
see what
absolutely.
So IMDb give it a 6.6 out of 10. And I can't read
on
the
par with
individual
everybody else.
reviews anymore for IMDb, but the 28.4%, the largest chunk, gave it a 7 out of 10.
Mm.
And then the second largest chunk is a 6 out of 10, and then it dwindles down from there. Almost 10% gave it a 10 out of 10, which is a pretty big chunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I mean, as a movie that is not like a movie in the Saw franchise, comparing it to other Saw franchises, I feel like this is really dependent on whether or not horror is your thing. This is a well-made horror movie. If you are into that genre, then 6.6, sorry, is too low to me. Like if you're someone who says I like a horror movie if it's good, this is better than like a 6.6 out of 10. But if you're someone who's like horror's not really my thing, then yeah, this is a movie that's like still has good performances in it, but is not going to be your thing and would be like below a 6.
I think people are making the mistake of not looking at it as an individual movie. I think they're so stuck in comparing it to the other ones in the franchise, and those are the base points that they're comparing it to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I think it's not really fair. If they were judging it as an individual movie, I feel like the ratings would be a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
But because some of the other ones in the franchise that performed way better in certain aspects, I feel like because of that, and it's not fair for it to suffer because something else was good.
Yeah, I agree.
This could be good too in its own vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem is they still have the other ones in their head.
Yeah. And yeah, I think in a vacuum, this is a good movie. This is pretty good. I mean, That's the tricky
Will,
thing
I'm
about.
sorry. I have to acknowledge this. I forgot to ask you. How long do we have before your saw trap runs out in that room you're in?
Hang on.
How long have you been given to talk to us?
I don't know because I jumped straight into this conversation. I haven't played the tape recorder yet.
Okay.
So I think that I kind of get an out where I have as long as I want until I play
doing the podcast.
Yeah, it's like, hang on.
Don't log off.
Saw, hang on. Yeah, guys, don't leave. But no, like that's very funny. Thank you. Anyways. No, I'm actually I'm on the tour, so I'm not in any danger. Thank you.
Cool.
But what I was going to say
saying, yeah,
about IMDb is every movie, or that's what its goal is every movie. And if you're rating things on IMDb, I think to expand on what you said, GQ, is you're not just making a comparison to the rest of the Saw franchise. You're making a comparison to every movie ever made on IMDb.
Which is why I think this lower number makes sense.
It does make sense. I think it's higher in my personal experience, but it does kind of make sense. But yeah, like if you go on the top rated movies.
The thing about IMDb is there are 94,000 reviews. So the thing I always point out about IMDb is they have so many reviews that they log that it is really hard for any movie to shake out of a C average. Because like everyone and their grandmother's opinion is on there. So everything is going to be like everyone who's going to say it's good is there. Everyone who's going to say it's bad there. It's always going to be average. So whenever I see a movie eke below 6 or get up above 70 into the 80s, that tells you that movie is really good or really bad or struck a chord with resonated with a large enough amount of people to make a ripple.
Yeah, because that many people cared enough to leave their opinion about it.
Yes, that many. Like tens of thousands. So sometimes hundreds of thousands.
I was going to say, if you look at IMDb's top 250 movies, I think that's a tricky list to look through because you have, I think, a recency bias of when IMDb was around. So like The Dark Knight is number 3 on the top movies of every movie ever, next to The Godfather and The Shawshank Redemption. Between The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2, which hot take, The Godfather Part 2 is okay. I think the first one blew me away.
First one is but it's kind of like how everyone says Back to the Future Part 2 is the best one, but
absolutely not.
The first movie is a perfect movie.
I agree.
It's like,
but so you have a recency bias where in 2008, IMDb was pretty well established. The Dark Knight comes out, everybody loves it. They go on and log it. And you also have the opposite where this movie is old and has stuck around, so it must be good. And then you get votes on 1972, The Godfather, where it's 9.2. Yeah. I will say, I really like The Godfather. Not everybody will, but then you have 12 Angry Men as number 5 on IMDb with a 9.0, with 952,000 votes. So not even a million compared to some of these other movies. So it is a little wonky, I think. Inception, I think, is another movie that is like, well, IMDb is around. Let's all go vote, or let's all go rate it. But yeah, so I do take a number of grains of salt with
IMDb.
Yeah. I do think the cinema score is probably my favorite. Or the one that I would most closely.
There's a big twist coming with Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh no! Okay.
Yeah.
I can't stand Rotten Tomatoes, but
oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
Rotten
put them
Tomatoes
in my salad.
Is kind of the whole reason that I created the idea of critics critique, is because Rotten Tomatoes to me was ridiculous. Like the entire nature of it is like, well, we can tell you if this movie's good or bad, and that stamp should influence your opinion. Like that is a terrible, terrible idea for art. That is just a measurably bad thing to do to any kind of art. And so I really like to break down like how movies are getting these numbers, like what people are actually saying. Like Rotten Tomatoes for the longest time was not actually upfront with what their true reviews are. So Saw X got an 81% fresh tomato meter, and it got an 88%, almost a 90 audience meter. out of over 1,000 reviews, 150 critics reviews. But here's the thing. All that means is 81% of critics said that it was a tomato versus a rotten tomato.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a binary choice.
The actual percentage out of 100, they don't show you anymore, but they used to show you. So like, in order to get a fresh tomato, you have to rate the movie at like a 65 or a 70 or above.
Okay.
So all 150 of these people could have said this movie is barely passing, and it would say 100%.
Yeah, like Paddington too.
Positive tomato. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because
why were people saying Paddington was so great?
Because it was.
To be fair, I didn't see it. But did you say because it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a 90,
1 and 2 are cherished. Like, they're really good.
I think there's something to be said for a complete lack of cynicism. And that's what Paddington feels like to me.
Yeah.
I love that. That's why I watch Bake Off every new episode.
That was the one social media interaction I had with Trevor Moores, him talking about Paddington. And I got a like on a comment. I replied to his thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So here's the thing. It's got an 81 from the critics, and so like a good critic says, overall, I did enjoy this movie. This is Bryce Hanson. It had me squirming in my seat and kept me engaged for most of the film. Do I think it's a groundbreaking masterpiece? No. In my opinion, it's the best Saw movie since the first one.
Hey,
I mean,
yeah.
GQ had to readjust a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree with them. I think the first one I liked, but the 10th one I really liked.
And then there's someone else who says this is the series' best entry since the original of 2004, which is not saying much. Rotten Tomato.
What was 2004? That would have been the third or fourth.
No,
the first one was 2004.
It started in 04. Yeah. Because
I'm an old man now.
04, 2 is 05, 3 is 06.
Yeah, it's one per year until
5 is 08 when the first Paranormal Activity came out. Second is 09 when Paranormal Activity started beating it out at the box office, and 7 was when they were like Paranormal Activity's winning, Supernatural Horrors having its heyday. In 2010 is when Insidious came out, and then The Conjuring was 2013, so everything shifted back Supernatural. But yeah, like everyone who's giving it a Rotten Tomato is saying, yeah, this is the most thoughtful movie in the franchise. This is John Serba. Of course, that's saying it's the least smelly in a surfeit of skunks.
Surfeit? They use that word?
Yeah.
Wow, good word.
It doesn't add much to the Brian Egert. It doesn't add much to the overall series, and its lamentable attempt to imbue Jigsaw with a heart proves as misguided as the killer's holier-than-thou agenda. So this guy is just not on board with the franchise. So,
I mean, I get it. Yeah, the whole thing.
Pretty consistently, the people who don't like it don't like Saw, and the people who like it like Saw.
Like Saw.
So how
Saw fans? So how are we measuring this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do we reconcile like I like Saw movies and I'm gonna give this a good rating versus I don't
like Saw movies, so I'm gonna leave a crappy review on there to deter other people from seeing this movie.
Tim Brayton, the path that Saw X traveled to become the best ever Saw movie was a short, brightly lit, well marked, and so obvious. Make Tobin Bell the protagonist.
Hey, I agree. Person, what was their name?
Tim Brayton.
Tim Brayton. I know you're a fan of the show. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's generally what critics are saying. And audiences though, you get they don't have to write as much. You get like 3 stars, was decent for a prequel. Like, thank you. Thank you for that.
You know, honestly, you mentioned the prequel thing. I forgot about that entirely. And I was just like in it. I was just like, oh, this is cool. And then it was like, oh, this is supposed to take place in 2001.
Between 1 and 2. No, it takes place in 2005.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have, spoiler alert for early Saw X, there is a dream sequence that involves one of the torture scenes is not actually a real torture scene. It's like a fantasy, like a daydream that he's having. And the one on the cover, isn't that wild? The eyeball vacuum thing is not actually a thing that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
They could have been like, actually all of the rest of the movies were a daydream. And so this is the actual thing that's happening. Also, real quick, I'm so sorry. That cover makes me laugh. I don't know if y'all are fans of SpongeBob SquarePants. There's an episode where Mr. Krabs is leading them on a treasure hunt that's a wild goose chase, and they decide to look like they get a look at his map, and their eyes extend and like move all over the map. That looks just like that.
What if that happened to a real person?
Yeah. Anyway,
it says witness the return of Jigsaw. Like that's what happens when you look at him.
That guy didn't witness anything. His eyes came out.
Yeah, his eyes were gone. So
I gotta look up that sound effect. I gotta see if it was a good one.
I'm sorry, Steven, no last name given. 2 stars.
It's a weird last name.
Could have done better, and the storyline hardly made science from the last ones.
Science, huh? Made science? Mm-hmm.
This is a verified reviewer. This is
okay. What I wonder what the origin of the no last name given family is. That's so interesting to me.
It's just crazy to me because I know they don't put the popcorn bucket on like the movies on their sticker or whatever, but it's just like even when I see 5 stars, love it, love it, love it, can't wait till the second part, love all Jigsaw movies, must watch. I'm like, that is just as thoughtless. Like it is.
Yeah.
Because it's a Jigsaw movie, they just felt like they could,
Yeah, it's just 5
That's
stars.
Something nice for them.
5 stars. It was soft.
Do them a favor.
10 is a 10. Like I
didn't see the movie yet, but since I know it's a Saw film, let me leave something nice.
Yeah.
So what's interesting to me is even though I think an 81% for Rotten Tomatoes, I think that is a fair score for this movie as it is, not being compared to like other movies. I think that is fair.
Yeah.
But it all comes out of this like this general glaze of, oh yeah, it's a good Saw movie. So if you like Saw, it's good. If you don't like Saw, it's bad. And that, if to me, nobody is talking about like empathy for John Kramer. For people who are actually fans of the Saw franchise, Shawnee Smith's character is so bizarre and interesting across the 3 movies that she's in. She is in flashbacks of other ones, but in 1, she's a victim. In 2, she's turned out to be an accomplice. And in 3, she's this fanatical accomplice who's trapping people in traps that are unwinnable because she's going insane. And this movie was the middle ground, showing how she transitioned from being a faithful accomplice to not. And she had to play 2 decades old.
Yeah.
A role halfway in between 2 movies she made that were written by people who had completely different ideas for story. Like what her and Tobin Bell did are incredible. And it's just like, it's a bummer to me digging into these reviews and seeing not a lot of thought like in all of that. But let's go to my favorite one, Letterboxd, because Letterboxd reviews are like gold usually. 3.2 stars, and so
out of
a little bit above, out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's a little above average. 3.5 stars. Do not order brain surgery from Shein. Review by Jay. Oh, okay. One that I cannot say. But there's a 5-star review. Amanda Young, Shawnee Smith, got her master's in word I can't say, ology. C word. Double majored in Slasian studies and statistical analysis. Minored in baby girlism. PhD in motherology from the University of Survington.
I see. Gotcha.
And then 4 stars, they used the Breaking Bad Mexico filter.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did hope that they would break out of that everything in Mexico is yellow orange. Yellow.
But also, isn't it weirdly accurate to the period that the movie was being made?
Well, right. Movies at the time, yeah, would do that.
Yeah, 2 stars. Never wise to scam Jigsaw. Finally got around to watch this one. I know I should have done Saw 3 next, but this follows Saw 2 timeline exactly. The traps are predictable but inventive, but seen better Saw movies. Okay. All right, Kevster to go. 3 stars. Very even, very good for a 10th installment. Felt fresh and original even.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Scattershot kind of opinions about the movie. Feels like people are all over the place a little bit, but yeah. So we've seen how this movie is reviewed. We're like above a 3, but not at a 4. Do you guys feel like that's a fair assessment of Saw X? Out of 5?
Yeah, I would say a little bit more close to the 4 side.
I would too.
Yeah.
I think so.
A 4 out of 5 is an 80 out of 100. I would lean pretty close to that.
It's so what we were talking about earlier. I think that even if you are an independent reviewer of movies, you may not be able to stomach all the blood and gore and violence, and that might bring it down for you, regardless of anything else. But if you're willing,
it's a little too gratuitous.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even with that, it's a competent movie, and that in and of itself is so refreshing in the 2020s. Just seeing a competent movie get made, I think it's worth it. Again, comparison to other Saw movies, easily the best. I'm so sorry, GQ, about Saw 1.
Well, no, because I want to hear his opinion on that now, because I used to hold the first Saw in such higher regard to the rest of the series, but in rewatching the series to anticipate watching this one, I actually found a lot of interesting problems and similarities to the other ones. So I don't know. GQ,
I feel like once the twist happened at the end of part 1, now for the rest of the franchise, I'm looking for that twist.
Yeah.
And therefore the surprise element is gone.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made me appreciate part 1 the most, because I was like, oh, that was out of nowhere. I didn't think that was gonna happen. And now after that, every movie after that, I'm like, okay, now what's gonna happen that's gonna make me go, oh, this was unexpected. This was the twist. You know what I mean? And because I looked for that in every film, once the reveal happens, it was like, okay, well, that's the thing that they do in this franchise.
So that's the thing that got me about the first Saw movie is I've seen it a few times over the years, and it's always just like so incredible. It's like a mystery thriller. Like you said, it's barely even a horror movie, except that it's got like shocking gore, you know, and it's not even as much gore as the other movies because that wasn't originally the point of the movie. It has this unbelievable surprise twist ending that is so shocking that I think it took me 20 years to actually think, wait, why? Why did Jigsaw paralyze himself and put himself in the room? Like, what would change in the movie if he just wasn't there?
Because now we're thinking, as that's another problem that I had, because as each film progresses, as the audience, we're thinking more critically.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, this wouldn't make sense if this happened, and that doesn't make sense, because now we're breaking down every little detail because of how bamboozled we were in part 1. We're like, okay, you're not going to get me again. I'm going to be smart. I'm going to look for things.
But that was the smart thing I think the franchise did is they play with you on that. They're like, okay, everyone's going to try and outsmart us, so we're going to build building blocks and explain
but then it gets to the point where, as an audience, sometimes we overanalyze,
and then
we're disappointed.
Yeah,
we're let down, and at the very end, when it wasn't what we thought it was. So,
I do think, Eric, you asked what would change about this. Well, you may have said what would change about the plan or what would change about the movie, and I don't remember which. The plan, nothing. He just wanted to be there, I guess. The movie, having him be there and for a character to be like, oh, you're him, I think is pretty cool. Like to just be like, oh, you're the guy that put me here, and you've just been lying here.
Well,
there is a joke.
Except, well, I guess he doesn't get up. Okay. what actually ends up being written into the movie is Shawnee Smith is responsible for his key going down the drain, so he can't get out.
Yeah.
So,
but we don't know that until 2, right?
We don't know that until like 4.
3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah. Because they didn't write it until 4. But the thing about it is, generally what's happening in that scene is Jigsaw gets up, reveals that he is Jigsaw, tells someone, you can survive, just go get the key and then you're free to go.
But it went down the drain.
I know it went down the drain, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So he's just like, you can be free to
well, he didn't say that. What he said was the key is in the bathtub. And that's all he said.
I know, but like,
but I mean, then
he does the whole
alone,
game over thing, and like he's like,
that reveal alone of number one. It was like a double whammy. It was like, okay, number one, this guy that I've been in the room with that I thought was dead the entire time stood up. That was shock number one. Shock number two was, oh wait a minute, this was the dude behind this whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was like,
so again, it dramatically very fun, it's just like, oh, and the game over line, it's cheesy, and would someone actually say that? But it's good to end the movie on that, I think.
But it. Here's the thing, that's how they didn't come up with the justification that he doesn't until movie 2. He doesn't say I've never killed anyone, and that's because in movie 1 he looks at the dude who's like, no, let me out, I'm trapped. And he says game over and locks him away to die. He kills someone.
Well, no, starvation and dehydration probably did that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, great. not the chain around his ankle that he can't cut himself out of.
Yeah. Well, it's a details.
Like that's, yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
It's like with Batman versus Superman. It's like, I didn't kill him. The explosion from the gas tank I shot killed him. Like,
oh no, he straight up shoots a guy in that movie. So I don't.
He straight up shoots a guy, and he straight up guns down and explodes a car full of people with machine guns from his Batmobile. So
I mean, who hasn't?
From everyone's Batmobile.
From my Batmobile, you don't have one. Well, there was something else I was going to say about the ending of. Oh, so I do think it's very impressive dramatically, the ending, the twist at the end of Saw 1. Mm-hmm. My partner and I do joke that this intense music is playing as an old man slowly stands up. And I mean, it in the context of the movie, it works, but out of context, if you were to just watch that scene and there's this big bombastic soundtrack as a guy stands up, it is kind of funny. Yeah. Also, he is when he first gets up and he's on all fours, he is throwing it back big time. If you go back and watch it, he's doing quite the pose. And we joke about like da 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 da, and he's like, ugh. So there's nothing big. I mean, thematically big happening. There is, but like
which is why the characters can't hear the music. So yeah,
it is not diegetic. You're right. What if it were though? Somebody brings in a boombox. Bring in the boombox. He has a tape recorder, and it's the theme.
Yeah. Oh, that would be hilarious.
With the sound quality of the tape recorder.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, I think that does anybody have any other thoughts on Saw, the franchise, or anything like that?
The only other. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying not at all. I think I've exhausted everything I was thinking about.
The only other thing is that I got a good laugh in a group chat that I'm in when someone said, "Me and my fiance are going to see Saw tomorrow." And I just responded, "LOL, Seesaw." I just thought that was funny.
This Halloween, Seesaw.
Seesaw.
All right. So
how did nobody do that in the advertising?
Yeah, I don't know. Seesaw?
All these years.
20 years on? Yeah, that's a good question. Go see Saw.
That's crazy.
The
'cause
rising action and falling action.
slogan. They had that slogan for a while. If it's Halloween, it must be Saw, because they were knocking them out one a year right around Halloween time.
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah.
But
that's
the
not
closest they got.
Seesaw.
That's
It's
not. Yeah,
Seesaw.
you've
You
got
have
to
to
Seesaw.
say the thing.
Yeah. Slide into theaters.
And
Swing into theaters to Seesaw.
Swing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh
Missed
my
opportunity.
gosh.
They
Yeah.
can still do it. They can still do it for 11 coming up.
Lionsgate, if you pay us, you can have it.
Yeah.
So so briefly, GQ, what are you up to? Where can people find you? Where can we look, like, what should we look out for you?
So as I was writing this book, I took a huge break from putting out a lot of videos, but now that I'm actually done and I'm going through the proofreading process, I'm going to start pumping some more content out. So Instagram, GQ of THOZE PPL.
Those people.
And then Instagram, same thing, but add the in front. So I'm TikTok, I'm sorry. TikTok is the GQ of those people. Same spelling. THOZE PPL. So be on the lookout, and I will keep you posted as to when my my short films come out too. So
yeah, cool. All right, Skittles O'Henry, what's he up to?
Skittles O'Henry is playing horror games until the end of November, because it's spooky until the end of November. From September to November is spooky time. I am currently playing. We just got done playing Luigi's Mansion on my perfectly legitimate GameCube. And we're currently playing Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, one of my all-time favorite games, also on my perfectly legitimate GameCube.
Is that the Cthulhu-type game?
Yes, it is. Well remembered. I saw you commented that. Yes.
Weird.
They did a great job of like making something Lovecraftian. Yes. They did a great job of like making something Lovecraftian without it being directly based on Lovecraft.
That's cool.
After that, we'll probably go back to Hades 2, just because that's a popular game. But all of that can be found at twitch.tv/Skittles O'Henry. Nice cat.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's for a Halloween episode. Say hello.
It just appeared out of nowhere. It was like magic.
Fade in.
This is Taika.
How old is Taika now?
2018 is when we got him, and he was like brand new. So
right on.
That's
man.
why he looks. That's why he looks calm. He's had a little bit of a life.
Oh, he's a thick.
Whoa! Look at those claws.
Yeah, they're coming out. Yeah,
he did that Wolverine thing just now.
I heard it go snicked. Yeah, Blade is 6, if you can believe it. Our dog.
Yeah,
he's about 6 years old.
I don't like to think about how old our pets are.
It's like, it's not a fun thought.
We got Nolan in 2014, man. That's
wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
don't think about that. Escapism. Back to movies and video games and books.
Hey, whenever you guys get a chance, not sure if you saw this trailer that came out for a movie with Chris Pratt, Mercy.
Where he's like locked in the thing and the AI is telling him he has to prove
it was like
innocence.
Somebody took a similar concept of Minority Report, but then like stepped it up a notch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious.
I'll take a look at the trailer.
Yeah.
It's Rebecca Ferguson is the AI that he is saying he committed a murder and he's locked in, and he has to, using like this AI infinite technology where he can pull from all camera footage and he can pull everything, whatever. He has to come up with proof that he didn't kill someone. And
he has a rating. He has like a rating where it's like a certain rating, and then based on the proof that he pulls in, if he goes below that number, he's free. He's free to go.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Is this like a crowd rating, or the AI determines it?
The AI determines it, I believe.
I think it's the AI
based on what proof is brought forth.
Yeah.
Go on. No, I was gonna say I'm wondering about like the potential for a twist, and I'm thinking if I wrote this movie, what twist would be at the end? No, that's a lie. If I'm thinking I wanted to go to lunch early, what twist would be in this film. Not the twist I would put in there, but if I had to put a twist in there and I wanted it to be done, what it would be.
Yeah, it looks very interesting.
I'll check out the trailer. Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Chris Pratt can pull that off, because ever since becoming a breakout star, it's been not primarily like emotional dramatic roles. It's been action adventure with a little bit of humor sprinkled in. So having him be stuck in a chair, having to carry a movie,
he's gonna have to show his acting chops. There was one show on Amazon Prime that he did a very good job with, Terminal List.
I'm not familiar with that.
So basically he was part of like a platoon that like after their tour, all of a sudden somebody is going around and taking out his old platoon. And he has to find out who it is. It's really good. It's really good. He actually, there's some weight in especially I would say the first and second episode of the show. So the Terminal List.
Terminal List.
Yeah.
Got it. I'll check that out too.
All right. Well, we've got our Chris Pratt recommendations in, and that's where I was aiming to go. So,
one more thing about Saw is that we went this whole conversation without talking about the coolest named actor in the Saw series, Costas Mandylor, who plays Detective Hoffman. Costas Mandylor. That's his name.
Well,
Big Lips Hoffman. That's
Big Lips Hoffman. I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah.
Let me go find another picture. Yeah, they're pretty juicy, I gotta say.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, that's the general gist is all we want you guys to do is just go see Saw.
Boy.
Yes. He got it in there. Yes. Perfect.
Anything else? Anybody want to?
No, not until the next film or the film franchise that we come back and talk about in the future.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do Fast and the Furious. It seems like there's enough interest. Yeah. It feels like, I was wondering.
There's certainly meat for conversation. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.